I was standing at my mother's graveside, reading the eulogy I'd spent 3 sleepless nights writing, when my phone started buzzing incessantly in my pocket. I ignored it. Nothing could be more important than saying goodbye to Mom. She taught me that family was everything. I read, my voice cracking. That blood ties meant loyalty, support, unconditional love. The buzzing continued. 10 calls. 20. 30. It wasn't until after the service, after the hugs and condolences, that I finally checked my phone. 47 missed calls from my building's security company. 23 from my neighbor Jake. And 1 text that made my blood run cold. Your family is robbing you blind right now. Check your security app. Jake. I opened the app with trembling fingers. What I saw made me sink onto a cemetery bench. 4 camera angles showed my apartment in real time. Aunt Brenda was wrapping my TV in my own bedsheets. Uncle Tony was dismantling my computer setup. My cousins were literally fighting over my jewelry box. And there, directing traffic like some demented conductor, was my stepmother Carol. Take the couch next, she commanded. She won't need this stuff where she's going. Where I was going? I was at my mother's funeral, not departing for another planet. I hit record on all 4 cameras and called 911. I need to report a burglary in progress at 4257 Oak Street, apartment 12B. Are you in the apartment now, ma'am? Are you safe? I'm at Riverside Cemetery. The burglars are my family members. I'm watching them on security cameras. There was a pause. Your family is burglarizing your apartment while you're at a funeral? My mother's funeral. Yes. Units are on the way. I rushed to my car, still in my black dress and heels, watching the live feed as I drove. They were efficient, I'd give them that. 20 minutes, and they'd stripped my living room, were working on the bedroom. Oh, this is nice. Cousin Marie held up the necklace Mom had given me for my college graduation. Dibs. Check the closet for designer bags, Aunt Brenda called out. Emma always had expensive taste. Had, like I was the one who died. The security footage was crystal clear, with audio. Every face identifiable, every word audible, every crime documented. I pulled up just as the police arrived. The looks on my relatives' faces as they carried my belongings out to find cops waiting? Priceless. Officers, Carol tried to explain, dropping my laptop. This is a family matter. Emma asked us to help her move some things. While she's at her mother's funeral, the officer looked skeptical. I'm Emma, I said, walking up in my funeral attire. I did not ask them to do anything. I've been burying my mother for the past 2 hours. The chaos that ensued was biblical. Denials, accusations, tears. Aunt Brenda actually tried to claim I'd given her permission to borrow a few things. Borrow. I pulled out my phone, showing the officer the security footage. Here's you saying, and I quote, she won't need this stuff. Here's you wrapping my TV. Here's you going through my underwear drawer. Brenda's face went from red to white. You were recording? Security system. High definition. Audio enabled. Cloud storage. I smiled grimly. Smile, Aunt Brenda. You're going to be famous. The police took statements, made arrests. Grand theft, breaking and entering. Turned out Carol had made a copy of my key months ago for emergencies. The emergency, apparently, was my mother's death creating an opportunity. But the arrests were just the beginning. That night, sitting in my ransacked apartment after recovering what they hadn't yet loaded into their cars, I stared at the security footage. 4 angles. 2 hours. Crystal clear evidence of my family's true nature. I'd been raised to handle family matters privately. Don't air dirty laundry. Keep it between us. Blood is thicker than water. But they'd robbed me while I was putting my mother in the ground. So I did something Mom would have never approved of, but something the internet age demanded. I uploaded everything to YouTube. My family robbed me during Mom's funeral. Security footage was the title. Simple. Factual. Devastating. The description was equally straightforward. I was giving my mother's eulogy while my aunt, uncle, stepmother, and cousins were emptying my apartment. They didn't know about the cameras. I tagged it appropriately, shared it to Reddit's r/trashy and r/IamatotalPC offshit, and went to bed in what was left of my belongings. I woke up to a changed world. 1.2 million views. The internet had found my family's betrayal and was collectively losing its mind. The comments ranged from supportive to savage. Who TF robbed someone during a funeral? The aunt really said she won't need this stuff. While you were burying your MOM? Please tell me they were arrested. Please. But it was the identified comments that started the real fireworks. Yo, isn't that Brenda Callahan? She works at my company. That's Carol Matthews. She's my kid's principal. Tony Callahan owns the auto shop on 5th Street. Never going there again. By noon, it hit 2 million views. News outlets started calling. The footage was so clear, so damning, that it needed no explanation. The audio made it worse. Grab the good jewelry first, Carol instructed. Should we leave anything? Marie had asked. Why? She's got no family left now. Who's gonna help her? That clip alone got turned into a TikTok sound. Thousands of videos using Carol's cold, who's gonna help her? Overlaid with people helping others, charity work, kindness. The irony was devastating. By day 3, it had 4 million views and a life of its own. Twitter threads identified everyone in the video. LinkedIn profiles were found. Employers were tagged. Aunt Brenda worked as a trust officer at a bank. A trust officer. The internet had a field day with that. Her employer's social media was flooded with screenshots of her stealing from her grieving niece. Is this the kind of person you trust with customer assets? Became a rallying cry. She was fired within 48 hours. Carol was a middle school principal. Parents were horrified. This woman is supposed to teach our children about character? The school board held an emergency meeting. She was placed on administrative leave, pending investigation. Uncle Tony's auto shop? Review bombed into oblivion. I wouldn't trust him to change my oil, let alone fix my car. If he'll rob his own niece at a funeral, what's he doing to customer vehicles? But it was Cousin Marie who got it worst. She was an influencer, 50K followers, mostly young women who looked up to her lifestyle content. The clip of her claiming dibs on my mother's necklace while I was at Mom's funeral? It became a meme. Marie claiming dibs on stolen goods was photoshopped onto everything from the Mona Lisa to the crown jewels. Her followers plummeted. Brand deals evaporated. Her comments were nothing but grave robber and funeral thief for weeks. They tried damage control. Carol posted a Notes app apology about miscommunication and grief making people act oddly. Brenda claimed it was a misunderstanding and that she thought I'd wanted help moving. Tony insisted he was just there to support his wife, not steal. The internet wasn't buying it. Someone synced all 4 camera angles into a split-screen video showing the coordinated nature of the theft. Another person added helpful captions identifying each thief and what they stole. A true crime YouTuber did a 45-minute deep dive analyzing their body language and conversation, concluding it was premeditated grief piracy. Grief piracy. That became the term. My family became the internet's example of how low humanity could sink. The legal consequences were significant, but the social consequences were devastating. Brenda's husband filed for divorce. Apparently, he'd been suspicious about her shopping finds for years. Carol's husband had to close his dental practice because patients refused to come. If his wife steals from funeral goers, what's he doing while you're under anesthesia? Marie tried to salvage her influencer career with a tearful apology video. The comments were brutal. Imagine apologizing for robbing your cousin with a full face of sponsored makeup. Is she wearing the stolen jewelry in this apology? Marie's Guide to Grief. Step 1. Rob your relatives while they're at funerals. She deleted all her social media within a week. Local news picked it up. National news followed. International outlets loved the story of American family values at their worst. My security footage was subtitled in dozens of languages, shared across continents. Turkish Twitter was particularly savage in their commentary. But the moment that broke me came from an unexpected source. A woman messaged me privately. I saw your video. The same thing happened to me when my father died, but I had no proof. Thank you for exposing these vultures. You've given me closure. Then another. My siblings emptied my mom's house while I was at the hospital with her. Seeing your family get consequences helps. And another. Funeral theft is real. Thank you for showing the world what these people are. Hundreds of messages from people who'd been victimized by their own families during their darkest moments. My stupid security footage had given them validation, justice by proxy. 3 months later, the view count was at 12 million. My family members had become cautionary tales, their names synonymous with the lowest form of betrayal. None of them could find work in our city. Brenda moved 3 states away and changed her name. Carol's teaching license was revoked. Tony's shop went bankrupt. Marie tried to message me. You ruined our lives over stuff. Was it worth it? I responded with a screenshot from the security footage, her stuffing my mother's necklace into her purse, and blocked her. Was it worth it? They robbed me while I was burying my mother. They coordinated a heist during the worst day of my life. They violated my home, stole my belongings, and showed zero remorse until they got caught. The prosecution offered them a plea deal. Return everything, pay restitution, complete community service. They took it to avoid jail time. I got my belongings back, but more importantly, I got something money couldn't buy. Justice. Public, undeniable, viral justice. The internet has a short memory for most things, but some videos live forever. Family robs woman during mom's funeral became part of the pantheon of worst people on the internet. It gets reposted regularly, gains a few 100,000 views each time, ruins my relatives' lives anew. They thought grief would make me weak, distracted, easy to rob. They didn't consider that grief can also make you angry enough to upload high-definition evidence of their crimes to the internet and let millions of strangers deliver the justice the universe owed. Mom always said family was everything. She was right. Family is everything, including evidence of what kind of people they really are. 4K resolution, 60 frames per second with audio. The internet never forgets. And neither do I.